Okay.
There you go.
Cool.
Yeah, man. We're rolling.
Oh, I'm totally failing here.
Yeah, they are. You were ready for the false start, and then the real start. Now you're like, stuff and things.
No, I should like post it on the Eric Hunter podcast Facebook page saying that we're going live.
We're live.
That's all you though. You got to connect it. I'll figure that out next time.
Yeah, man. I should have done that.
Mm-hmm.
Kick it.
Hold on, I'm eating a Reese's peanut butter cup right now.
Clearly.
So tasty.
So, I mean, see, the Reese's peanut butter cups, man. That's a two kinds of people in this world, right? Those who like Reese's peanut butter cups and those who are wrong.
Yeah, right?
That's it. That's two kinds.
My favorite one of those, I don't know why, but my favorite one of those like two kinds of people thing,
Yeah.
by far, is I think I saw it like on a shirt, like a meme with the person wearing the shirt, that it was like, there's two types of people in the world: those who can extrapolate from incomplete data.
That's awesome. I love that.
I don't know why. It's my favorite one.
I saw another one that said that something along the lines of the spread of a virus is dependent on two things: how dense the population and how dense the population.
Right.
And then somebody commented on it. You only named one thing. What's the other thing? I was like, yes, it's the best. It's good times. I love good humor, especially when it's witty. Unlike Kevin on The Office, and he's like, I like banter, but I hate witty banter. So funny. Sorry, I need a drink of water there. That was helpful. Are you gonna start this thing off or what? Let's go. Wait, why can't I hear you now? Did you just like die? Oh, great. We can't hear Foreman again. I don't know how. We literally have been on here for an hour, maybe, not quite. 45 minutes talking, no problems at all. When we're trying to go live and get this thing recorded. She gone. You know what I mean?
Can't hear me because it went.
There we go.
It does that.
Oh yeah, you disappeared. What happened?
I lost connection to my thing. I got to test out some connection things in this room. I got to see how the Wi-Fi works compared to plug it into the router over there and all kinds of fun stuff. I just
plug it in.
Making it a sweet man cave in here, I guess.
Yeah, man. You've only been there for 3 years. All right, start this thing off. Let's go. Let's get this going. This is all the pre-show.
Hello and welcome to the Eric Hunter podcast. My name's Eric and I'm here with my co-host Jared. I never fell off my chair during a podcast. Nah. How you doing, Jared?
Wait, did I fall off my chair during a podcast? Oh, I think that was a long time ago. No.
No. I fell off
you
the chair
did. I totally forgot about that.
So
yeah.
Your nickname is the I never fell off a chair.
I get that, but I didn't know if it was like a facetious, like calling a big guy tiny type situation. So.
No, it's like calling the tiny guy tiny. I'm not tiny.
It's just obvious. Gotcha. Perfect. Love it. It's funny we're talking about that because we watched Princess Bride with the girls tonight. They've never seen it. Pre-watching it, Molly, my oldest, I probably shouldn't use real names. Whatever. She was like, I don't know if I want to watch it. It might be kind of boring. And to be fair, we've tried to watch movies with them lately, and some of them don't go over well. They kind of got bored through the Never-Ending Story, which was weird because it was a good one.
Like the older movies specifically, or like
nope, no, any of my movies. They're fine with the kids crap and all that, but when you try and show them other stuff, it depends on the kids. Because my youngest, she loves like E.T. and Home Alone and different things like that. But anyway, so then she was like, I don't know if I like it. I'm like, well, here's the deal. Sit down, watch it. I mean, it's princesses, and my oldest is obsessed with all that stuff. She's always been the pink, glittery, well-dressed princess chick. So she was like, all right. And then, but the other thing she really hates, like, blood at all. Like anytime she sees blood ever, it like bothers her, it upsets her, just kind of grosses her out. I don't know which. It's a little bit of everything. I don't think it's grossed out as much as it just upsets her. So I was like, I don't think there's any blood. I said that because in the beginning there's not. Towards the end there is. So
I don't remember any blood.
It's
in that
very.
at all.
It's well,
Maybe,
when it's a kid that's deathly afraid of it, yeah, you notice it. Otherwise, you don't. But she was not deathly afraid. That's obviously hyperbole.
I get it. I've never really been hyper aware or anything of that. So
because you've never had to. It's weird, and then going back being a parent, all of a sudden you're like, maybe this isn't appropriate. No, but it was fine. But it was just super funny because, like I said, usually they lose interest, they get distracted. We haven't shoot, I was trying to show them Star Wars, man. We literally had to stop Star Wars Episode 4, the first one, A New Hope. We didn't because they got bored halfway through. But then. What? Shut up! No, I saw that at 5 and I was obsessed. But that's fine. But then my littlest, we watched Raiders of the Lost Ark, and she watched it start to finish. She didn't even turn her head, by the way, at all, ever. And I'm just here to say, I don't think I watched that whole movie all the way through until I was like 16 or 17. But I turned my head all the time as a kid. In fact, I joked that I don't even know if I ever saw it all the way through, start to finish, without turning my head. I was like, I was going to put out a tweet or a Facebook post.
I didn't catch on to like what exactly you're referring to.
Oh no, it had lots of scary stuff to me as a kid. With like the very beginning, you've got all the scary. Like there's a lot of scary stuff in Indy. So. The Raiders of the Lost Ark.
The end.
Yeah, well, especially that. That's the part I always turn my head away from. Right.
Always
correct.
Turn my head. Yeah.
So I was totally gonna.
That's a good movie. Why would you turn it? And then I was like, oh wait, the end. I remember. I totally used to do that too.
Yeah, with the melting faces, man. It's scary, right? So I was totally gonna tweet. I was gonna tweet out like, hey, me and my daughter just saw the Indiana Jones together for the first time. Because I swear it was the first time. Anyway, so you never know which way these movies are going to go with these kids, you know? It's crazy. So, like, we're watching it, and, like, Molly, and they're usually pretty wiggly, but my oldest, she won't even move. Like, she literally is just glued to the screen the whole time. And it was pretty funny because she was super into it. There was no problems. And then, there was a couple scenes where there was a little bit of so they climb up the rocks. They're having the sword fight up at the top. And she's like, Yep. And I'm like, no worry. There's no blood. That's when I said that because and obviously there was going to be no blood right there because we all know how that turns out. If you haven't seen it, go see The Princess Bride, I guess. I don't know. It's also on Quibi. Done by tons of famous people, but anyway, that's a different story.
Did they already do that one, or
yeah,
filmed it and everything?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's out. I've watched clips of it already. I just watched the Jack Black clip and stuff like that. It's pretty fun. So it wasn't just Jack Black. I watched one with the Office crew and stuff too.
Yeah, I heard they were doing it, but I wasn't sure if they had released it yet or not. So I wasn't sure if it was actually out.
Yeah, what's so funny about that is, well, Quibi, like, they were just going to be a mobile-only device type streaming service, right? Well, like 2 days after launching, they realized that was dumb, so I guess they're already going to move away from that. So here's my take. I'm actually super curious of watching this. I'm not going to pay for a new streaming service, and I watch everything through my PlayStation. So I am not going to pay for it. There's a 2-week free trial. I'm going to wait till they release an app for my PlayStation. I'll download Quibi, watch it once, just that, and then get rid of it.
You're not the target demographic. I'm curious. I see ads for that all the time on YouTube and stuff, and I'd be like, there's a couple of shows on there that look like they could be kind of interesting to me. Like, I would check them out, but I'm not. I'm with you. I don't want another streaming service.
I'm super anti all the streaming stuff anyway. But we've had this discussion a bunch. So, finish up the movie afterwards, right? We finished it up, and I'm like, so, Molly, what'd you think? She's like, I liked it, and then I didn't, and then I did, and then I didn't, but then I did. So, I think overall it was pretty good. It was amazing, because the didn'ts were the times when it was the scary blood parts or whatever. Right. It was just so funny. But she literally, that's just such a kid way. Again, we talked about this a little bit last time. Such a kid way to say that. It's just the kid way, because we would never be like, oh, there's parts I liked, but stuff I didn't. Overall, I liked it. But she's like, I liked it, and then didn't, and then did, and then didn't, and then did. It's like,
right?
Okay. It's just only a kid would talk that way. Only a kid would describe it that way. It's fun. I enjoy it. But yeah, we had a good time watching the film. They actually really enjoyed that one, and they made it through the whole thing, which was interesting. All that I brought up because we were talking about Tiny, and she always, when we watch movies, also asks if people are real or whatever. And so obviously Andre the Giant's in that. She's like, giants are real? I'm like, yeah, there's really giants among us. And she's like, I didn't know. So I just brought all that up because we
He
mentioned
was
Tiny.
a tall guy, man.
He was
pretty,
huge. He was really big. Yeah, he was cool.
up there.
He was a neat kid, neat guy. He really was a gentle giant. He was a cool guy.
That's what I hear. I obviously I've never met him, but
Oh, me neither. I just meant from everything I've watched, read, and heard. I've never heard. I've not come across anyone say anything negative about him. And heck, people are even saying bad stuff about Ellen. So I'm just saying, Andre must have been a pretty good guy.
I heard something about that like recently with Ellen come out, where she apparently is like something about her listed demands on the show or
all
something,
kinds
whatever.
of stuff. Well, the
And I was
bodyguard teed it off first.
I skipped the whole article. I was like, okay, I could see maybe she plays the carefree whatever person, and then behind the scenes is a little kind of crazy. I could get that. And then I saw something else just today about it, like.
She's actually her show's under investigation by Warner Brothers or something. And
yeah, I think that's what it was that I saw an article saying she's under investigation, something along those lines. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, so weird. Ellen seems one of like the, I don't want to say wholesome, but
She seems like she's a genuine and positive and happy person. Yes, I agree. It comes off that way as well. But you know what? I don't know either way. Magic of television, you can portray anybody anyway. And that's why I think it's silly that we hold them in such regards. And nobody's a bigger movie buff than me. But I don't know why they put them on a pedestal. I love them for their art, and then that's it. Like that's it. I don't want to be like Tom Cruise or pick whatever. I just picked a name real quick.
Yeah, what's weird?
I've never understood that. I don't care what they wear or eat. I don't.
Well, that's just everybody that gets all caught up in the gossip and everything. I
don't care
think
about
they feel
any of
like
that.
Since let's use Tom Cruise for an example.
Sure.
Like he's in a bunch of big movies, so people look up
all
to
the
him.
big
They
movies.
be like him. He's going to influence the little kids and all that.
Is
but
he?
If I stop and think about it, when I was younger,
I don't think anyone looks up.
Heavily...
He's really short. Sorry, go ahead.
That's why I said kids.
I know, and that's why I still came back with I don't think so. I'm sorry, I digress. When you were younger, gotta get a little joke in.
No, when I was younger, I would look up to actors, but not because of the actor. I would look up to like the role or whatever. Like I want to be like that.
Yeah, that's funny.
Right,
you're more impressed with you want it to be Mad Mortigan more than you want to be Val Kilmer.
Yeah.
Right.
So.
Right, absolutely. Yes, that was a reach, but I don't care. I went for Willow. Come on, Mad Mortigan was awesome when you were a kid. Oh, you didn't? Oh, I love that movie.
I did. When I was little, I did. I remember watching it. It was
Oh, I love that one.
Yeah,
we watched it a lot.
Pretty awesome.
I even had a coloring book, Willow coloring book. I was pretty happy.
I think I only watched it like once or twice.
Oh,
I remember very specifically watching it like with a group of friends though, like over at somebody's house.
Like a sleepover or a party or something.
Yeah.
Huh? That's cool. That's fun. Yeah, cool times, man. Yeah, anyway, I don't know how we got on that, but
I don't even. Yeah, I know.
I never know how we do, man. I swear.
Yeah, no. Going back to the actress, though, I always
thought
it was weird.
That's where it was. Yeah.
Yeah. How I don't want to get too political with it, but
no
politics. Bad, and they'll be like, "Oh, you're out the whole industry or whatever," and you'll be like, "Yeah, so what?" But then, like a normal person does like could do the same kind of thing. Like they could whatever, and their normal jobs, they'd be like, "Yeah, whatever, just do your job." Then
right.
You're good.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
How it's weird an actor is somehow different than a normal person in that regard.
Yeah. I also think it's funny. Edward Norton, I was watching him talk one time, and he's talking about how it's funny to him how people do get such a glow about movie stars, right? I'm paraphrasing this kind of what I picked up from him. Don't quote me, but he said it's funny, and he says because when people come up and meet you or whatever, and you're like not a big tough guy like they think, and he's like, I don't know where people get this concept. He says we put on makeup and play pretend for a living. Like what about that makes us sound like big macho men? I was like, man, that's a solid point. It's a solid point. They play pretend or dress up and wear makeup. Like, let's It's what they do. But anyway, my whole point, and I think we had this discussion before, they were the jesters. You know, that was supposed to be the bottom of the barrel, and now somehow we have them on pedestals, and I don't understand that. I appreciate their art. I enjoy what they do, and I'll continue to support, their art if I enjoy their films. But I just don't know why we have this world that just, it revolves around that. I guess because maybe it's free advertising, maybe, you think? Because it's already there, they're already on the screen, so then you just pay them a little bit extra money to slap on their clothes or talk about them or drink your Starbucks, and then it's an easy sell. I think that's all it is. I think it's just lazy commercialism, honestly.
I mean, that's part of it, I think. There's something else, though, some other factor to it, that people just get engrossed into other people's lives. I don't personally understand it at all, but the same way that, people like to gossip about the neighbor that lives, 3 houses down to their other neighbors. I think it's kind of the same thing. They what's, Edward Norton doing? Because it's somebody they see, they don't really know that much about, so they're just curious what's going on behind the scenes. I don't know.
I love that we're using random, not that they're less well-known actors, but I mean, Edward Norton's never in the news, and I love that that's who we're using. Just stuff like that. It makes me laugh because, he's not necessarily one that's on the front of any tabloid. Hell, I can't even remember last time I seen him in a movie, but
it's been a while, right?
I'd have to stop and think. I'm sure it's something, but yeah, it's been a minute. He's actually, I think,
That's the last one I can think of.
Oh yeah, I think you're probably right. That was
I know he's in something after that, but I don't know.
Yeah, he was, and I think he had a cameo in something else. But off the top of my head, I can't remember. He at one time was one of my favorites, and I thought he was going to be like a superstar. Not that he wasn't, I guess, but like, I don't know what happened to him.
Like bossy behind the scenes and stuff, and that's.
I could see that he's a bit of
issues with stuff.
He's a bit of a. I could see that he's a bit of a. Like Daniel Day-Lewis, like all of them. The really good ones are very odd. Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
But you have to think about Nicolas Cage. You have to think about it though. It's kind of like you alluded to earlier.
Is he good or is he bad?
That's one of the most classic episodes on anything ever. It's in Community. You're talking about it. It's Abed. He goes and takes a class about Nicolas Cage. That's such a good episode. So funny. I fucking love that episode, dude. By the way, he did some spot on Nicolas Caging in that. That was pretty solid for Danny Pudi.
He did actually.
Pudi to pull that off. I was very impressed. He must be somewhat of a impressionist, I guess, because he did that well. He's just very talented. But I mean, he got his facial expressions and body movements. It was impressive.
He's just a big Nicolas Cage fan.
Maybe that's probably all it is. He's such a nerd. They're like, "What should we do an episode about?" And Danny's like, "Hey, it's something. I really like Nicolas Cage, and in fact, I do a pretty good impersonation. You want to see it? No."
He's like, but he's in some weird movies sometimes. Just really bad stuff.
I know. It's such a good episode.
Is
because
he good or is he bad? He's like, let's go with it.
It's so funny. It's solid. It's a solid argument. But anyway, I think that there is some sort of they have to act and play and take on all these different roles and thoughts and feelings and emotions, and like at some point, doesn't that have to affect your brain and just your functionings in society?
Carrey had something about that, like an interview about after he did like the Andy Kaufman movie or something.
Oh yeah, because did you watch that one, by the way, Man on the Moon?
No,
Man in the Moon. It's bizarre. I'm not saying to watch it, but you might not know Andy Kaufman anyway. But I watched a lot of Taxi and stuff growing up.
I kind of know Andy Kaufman. But I don't know.
He was so weird. Anyway, watch it for studying.
Weird and stuff like that. But yeah,
if you want a great character study, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was after that movie. Jim Carrey did some interview about how he was going so, so far down the rabbit hole. Don't quote me on this.
No. I could quote you all. I've watched all of it. He was literally insane. He literally stayed in character, and not in character of Andy, but of a character that he played. So there's a character of a character, and he was this jerk of a guy that he would always go around pretending to be. Anyway, Jim Carrey stayed into that character almost the entire time, not Andy Kaufman's character, and it really started to wear on him. Yeah, he does go on and talk about it 100%.
He talked about like how it started making him like questioning, like because he started to feel and act
Who
that
he
way
was?
for real or
Yep.
something like
Yep.
like that. Was like, who are you? And like,
Yep.
what does it really mean? And if you start to just be somebody else for long enough, do you become that person,
Right.
or are you still you? But what is like
You
Yeah,
you've spent
it's
your
just
whole life
interesting.
being everybody else, so who are you actually? And it is
Yeah.
interesting to think about. I would almost be interested in doing like a whole case study on something like that. It really does have to play with you. It can't be easy. Much of the same, and I don't know if you want to call it PTSD, but much the same as being a spy or a CIA agent, or you know what I mean, having to live with that. And that obviously the stress levels are different. You know, if you screw up your line, they're not going to kill you. But but I mean, you know
No,
what I
but the
mean. There's
movie
got to
will
be.
bad.
I mean, but some of that could be some of that case pretty tragic too. But I'm not saying it's on the same scale. Please, nobody send me angry letters. But
It's
there's got
EricHunterPodcast@gmail.com.
Parts like I want to read some angry letters. Please send them.
Yeah. There's
but-
no the in it, just EricHunterPodcast.com.
I told you.
I mean, EricHunterPodcast@gmail.com.
Gmail.com. We can't afford a website. Who are we?
Right.
Besides,
One day we'll have a sponsor.
Oh,
One day
yeah.
we'll be able to afford things like microphones.
Shut up. This is working. Now look at the space.
It really is, though. I went back and I listened to when I uploaded the last podcast. I was just curious. I went back to the
Original season 1.
I just went to some random podcast. I was like, okay, let's listen to it. And I listened to me. I was like, oh, okay, not that bad. Whatever. Didn't change much. And then you started talking, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh my god.
Yeah, it
What?
was rough. Yeah, it was rough in the beginning, man. It was rough. So much snapping and popping and cricking. That's the whole reason you actually edited in the beginning. It was because that mic was so bad.
Maybe.
No, it really
I don't
was. And then
remember.
then I'd always have windows open and dogs barking because I still had my dog at the time, and like there was always something going on and a baby crying because the baby was a baby at the time.
Yeah.
It's crazy how much life's changed since we started all
Those
this.
were the good old days. I didn't realize how long ago we, it didn't. I mean, if I stop and think about it, yeah, it's been a while, but like it didn't dawn on me when I saw the actual date that first podcast, like the first couple of podcasts were uploaded. I was
Yeah.
like, oh my god, we've been doing this for like 5 years?
Mhm.
What?
That's kind of crazy.
So-
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool. I mean, not consistently, but life's hard. It's not like we
Some huge gaps due to technical issues, among other things. So,
and life.
yeah, big part of life.
Yep. Uh-oh, we lost him again. Oh, he left the party and everything. Fail. Yeah. It's making it hard. He's got issues on that end. It's frustrating for me. Poor guy. His internet. Which is funny because he's got the world's fastest internet. I need to look up where that picture is on the screen right now. That is just absolutely beautiful. It's a snowy mountain with the houses and the lights. Because I never know if there's a big enough delay that you're not seeing it. When I say it, I should watch the video, but I don't. Yeah. So, what else should we talk about tonight? I have prepared a few things. There he is. Hey. Welcome back to your podcast. He's still not talking yet. There. Oh, he left again. The amount of failure in these podcasts, man. He said technical difficulties, and then I swear it wasn't even 30 seconds later, and it happened. It's like a jinx. You know what I mean? That's what it was. He's emitting a ray. It's a pulse. It's a gamma ray. I've got nothing to talk about by myself because I'm never prepared for these. I'm going to have to start having side conversations ready and or laid out so that works. I can talk about video games, I guess. It just came out on Tuesday on PlayStation. It's been out longer than that. It's a video game called Cuphead. It's, if anybody doesn't know about it, check it out. It's pretty cool. It's literally animated in the style of old cartoons, and I mean like Looney Tunes and the likes like that. So literally that's the animation style. And it's interesting because it looks like it's a side-scrolling platformer, which it is, but it's not as well. It's also got like boss fights, so it's got like the Mega Man feel to it. Um, and then it's even got one of the things I was in was like almost like a Galaga, if you will. You're in an airplane and doing the same type of things, except with these awesome graphics from like the Looney Tune era. You know what I mean? In fact, the one level that I'm at, I mean, I'm in this little airplane and I'm fighting the Zeppelin, and this Zeppelin is kind of cool because it looks like kind of like a Betty Boop. You know what I mean? Almost, but then it's like this evil Zeppelin trying to get you. It's pretty interesting. What's up? Welcome back.
The irony of you talking about how our old podcasts were blah blah blah, and then issues with kids and stuff, and then a kid caused that issue right now.
Oh, that's hilarious. It was a kid. That's awesome. What's even funnier is the fact that we said technical difficulties was one of the things that stopped us in 30 seconds after saying that.
Yes. Kids and technical difficulties.
Boom.
Kid technical difficulties.
Kid technical. That's hilarious.
For those of you who don't know, we currently have like a weird setup going for our podcast where we're using PlayStation Network. We have a party going, and that's where we get our audio from, is the party in the PlayStation. But the way I connect to it is through my computer using the remote play. So I can record the audio on my computer. I can record me directly onto the it's nice for me to have that computer access. Anyway, yes. One of the little ones decided to log in under my name on the other
I hate when that happens, and then it's a big to-do to get you logged back into yours, because now you have to, it's a big to-do.
I came back right away. I was like, oh, okay, he's good. He's not going to whatever. And then he logged into it again. I was like, oh. So I had to go down and have a quick little chat.
That's all right. I carried it on. I started.
Away from my name! No.
Or else. No. Kids, man. They make life interesting. Yeah, I just was explaining Cuphead a little bit and just talking about that just to kind of cover the rough spot there. Or you could just cut it all out. But it's still live and it's on YouTube this way, so I might as well at least make it somewhat entertaining.
I don't know, because on my side I don't have your audio. I'd have to pull the YouTube thing. It's cut out for me completely. I'm not sure how I'll do it, but if you want to see that kind of stuff happen, you'll definitely get the whole thing if you go to Sly Night Guy in YouTube. Although it might come up with Sydney Guy. You don't want that one.
I'm not down under.
Actually, I'm not sure how much you want to plug that one, though, because don't we want to switch over to Eric Hunter Podcast at some point to actually stream these things?
Yes, but that would have to be you with the streaming, because I'm connected through my PlayStation, and you can only connect it to one YouTube, and it's already connected to YouTube since I stream gaming sometimes, too. So, for that to happen, yes, absolutely, but we'd have to do it through yours, and you'd have to connect it to the Eric Hunter Podcast. But yeah, it would totally work. That wouldn't be an issue.
Speaking of kids and podcast, hi!
Welcome to the podcast.
Can you say hi to everybody? Say hi, everybody! No?
Not having it.
I got my little... This is so funny.
Can you put the bone on me because I can't put it on?
Yeah, you gotta get the bone on her, man. She can't get that bone on.
The bow. Yeah,
oh, the bow. I just figured it was a bone hair clip. I've got little girls. I mean, nothing sounds crazy, man.
There you go. Go ask mommy.
That's hilarious.
And everybody gets to hear live the go ask mommy.
Yeah, the pawning of the child.
Yeah, it's weird because I work from home in this man cave area office room that I have set up, and sometimes she'll just bust into the door.
Nice.
I'll lock it, but so nobody can get in. Sometimes I don't. She'll just waltz right in. I'm like, good thing I wasn't on the phone, you know?
Right? Exactly.
Sometimes if I do lock it, she'll be like, you know?
Which
like, what do
doesn't
you
make
want?
it much better. Right.
And she like try to talk to her through the door real quick, just like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, go do what you. And she'll be like, I can't see you.
That's hilarious. That's funny.
Yeah.
My favorites, my kids, man, they, they knock when you're in the bathroom, right? It happens to everybody. But it's so funny because they're always like, "Are you done yet?" And my answer is the same every time. Do you see me? Like, shouldn't be that hard to figure out. If I'm done, I'm not going to be in this room that's meant for, doing what I'm doing. So,
Yeah, they do that
nope.
to me too. They'll knock on the door. I'm like, what are you doing?
Right.
What do you think I'm doing?
I'm playing some Texas Hold'em. What are you guys doing? No, I'm not the. What do you think I'm doing? I know it's funny, but I'm telling you, it's almost daily. Are you done? No! Am I out there? I'll be standing next to you when I'm done. That's how you'll know. Or they'll be like, "Are you almost done?" And I'm like, "Oh my, I don't know. Let me ask. Hey, Bowles, where are we at with this situation? Could you give me an update?" I don't know, kids.
Right.
It's funny,
Yeah,
though.
the kids
They're
are
so
silly.
hilarious. They are. They're so funny. I just can't wait, though, to bring up that stuff when they're older. You know what I mean? Like when they're 16. Like, you used to try and come in the bathroom all the time when I was going to the bathroom.
Right. Right.
Like incessantly. And you talk to me through the door the whole time I'm going. Do you remember that? Yeah. Yep.
You have to take like video of it and stuff. Well, not
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Audio of it, at least. Or film the door. Here I am on my commode. Day 123. No.
You take a selfie like on the toilet, like, here I am, dropping to number 2. This video is gonna be so embarrassing for little Molly. Anyway.
Right.
Anyway.
Right. Right.
She's knocking on the door.
It's hilarious. I'm gonna embarrass her so good. She's got her friends over. Look how dumb she. Oh gosh, I'm an idiot.
And she'd be like, "Oh my God, you're so embarrassing."
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly. More than likely, the kids would be more embarrassed that you're embarrassing than being embarrassed about themselves. So that's the other fun side of it.
That's the job of a dad, right? Is just to be just
give them a hard time, man.
All the time.
Yeah, you got to, man. It's good. It helps them be prepared for when they go out there, man. Just saying. It's a hard world. If you can't tease them a little bit and rib them, give them a little bit thick skin, knowing that it's all in good fun and that you love them. You know what I mean? It helps prepare them. That's what people don't realize. Everyone's like, "Oh, that's so mean." It's like, no. You're helping them to get a little bit thicker skin, knowing that's coming from a place of love, and you know what I mean.
Mean and there's
it helps.
Yeah,
you just
with them a little
ribbing
bit,
them. You're just ribbing them. Yeah, you're ribbing them a little bit. Nothing wrong with that.
It's funny because the older they get, they start to catch on to it and they start doing it back and stuff.
Yeah, they do. I know. Yep, my 8-year-old all the time, and she's pretty funny. Catches up pretty quick with stuff. Start giving it right back or playing along.
Yeah.
And you're just like, ha. But then it was funny because when she first started doing it, it was a while ago, and she was like, I'm playing along. I'm like, no, I get it. So now she doesn't tell me. She doesn't preface it when she's playing along. She gets that I get that she gets it.
Right.
Right.
That you get that I get it.
Right. Legitimately, and that's what it is. But hey, man, it works. It's funny. It's so fun to watch that evolution and the changing and stuff. It's kids. It's crazy.
My little baby, and I'm like, oh man, she's like the perfect age right now. I don't want to see her grow up anymore, but like I do, but I don't. But like I do.
I don't know. Everyone's like terrible twos, man. I love the 2 to 3 age. I actually didn't have any problem with the toddler. Molly and Lily both just amazing. A lot of fun. I'm not saying there's not days they drive you nuts. That's anything, man. That's anything. There's days video games you want to throw out the window. Come on, man. You know what I mean? That's anything. I'm not that I want to throw my kids out the window. I'm just saying frustration levels.
Did you?
But I never had that. No, but I never had that. Like people are like, "Oh, it's so terrible. You just can't wait till they're out of it." I never experienced any of that. And everyone's like, "Oh, it comes later with girls." Well, both mine are past 5, and I still don't. It never happened, so I don't know.
I think it's the teenage years with girls.
And that's what I'm worried about. But we'll see.
Daddy, I don't want to talk to you. I'm gonna go slam my door in my room, and you don't understand, that fun stuff. But I
But
don't
that's
think.
why I'm opening all the communication now. I talk with my girls all the time, and I always let them know there's nothing you could tell me that's gonna, that's bad. We're gonna talk about everything. You have questions, come to me. Like they know. So like they do. I mean, they ask me a billion questions. Most of the time, I can answer. Um, but that's what I think. It starts young. You got to start establishing that pattern of knowing that one, that they could tell you anything. But two, I also let them know, honestly, I tell them all the time that I love them, and I love them no matter what, and nothing they can do will ever change how I love, and that I love them. And I think that's important. I think that allows, and it's just my own personal, it's my 2 bits here real quick. It allows your kids to know that they're allowed to grow, experiment, and learn who they are, but at the same time, know that they're, in a safe spot, because it's so scary otherwise, you know what I mean? Like, trying to figure out who you are, how your body works, even just thinking in general, and then also, not being in a secure place or feeling attacked for it. So, it's interesting, but I try and keep those
Feeling
communication open.
afraid to tell your,
Right.
parents about something,
Right.
or whatever.
Right. But you never know. So literally, like just even the other day, I had the discussion with my kids. I'm like, you don't have any adults that want to keep secrets with you guys, do you? Like just to check, you know what I mean? Because any
Yeah.
adult that wants to have a secret with my kid, I have a problem with, we're going to go have a discussion. So I asked them, and they're like, no. And I'm like, okay, well, just know that if there are ever any adults that want to have a secret with you, you need to come to me right away and tell me that you have an adult that wants to keep a secret with you. Because adults shouldn't be keeping secrets with kids. You know what I mean? You just got to start little with stuff like that and pepper it in, but it's also a nice way to check to make sure. And then the funniest thing is because they're sweet and innocent right now, Molly's eyes got big when I said about the secret. And I said, no, an adult, a grown up. And she was like, you saw the relief because she has, secrets or whatever. And she's like, well, sometimes me and Nate have secrets, one of her friends, or, he's way little. And I'm like, oh, no. Yeah, that's fine. Their secrets is they traded rocks last week or something. You know what I mean? I'm like, that's fine. I'm just no adults. If they're a big
It's
person,
so weird,
they
like
shouldn't.
how kids like to keep secrets and stuff too. My
Yeah.
7-year-old little girl, she comes up and she'll be like, "Daddy, can I tell you a secret?" And I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
okay, sure. And she'll come up and she'll start whispering. She'll be like,
They never have anything. Yes, I know.
and she's gonna like make up something.
I
really
know.
quick,
Yeah,
and she'll
I
tell
know,
me
it's
something
so,
that's just so
so
like,
benign and just
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
I'll be like,
Can I tell you a
okay.
secret? Elephants have trunks. Don't tell anyone.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it's so-
okay. I know my kids always do that too. It's so funny. It's such a funny thing. Like, why is that so? Where does it even come from? Because it's almost like a universal thing. But it's not like they were watching something that we watched, so we wanted secrets. You know what I mean? But it's literally like a universal. I don't know where it comes from. It's interesting. Where it's learned, where it's
That's a
picked
good
up.
question. I'm not sure if I had to stop and think about it. I like to, whenever I like question where things come from, in my mind, I always like, well, if it doesn't make sense, like in current day and age, I'll go back and be like, well, when we were like hunter gatherers, does it make sense then?
Yeah.
And
No, exactly.
And a lot of the time, stuff will come, it'll be like, oh yeah, it does make sense that like we needed that back then, and it just kind of came forward today. I can't think of a good example right now off the top of my head, but like, so secrets, I'll be like, okay. Like right now, and especially with kids, because they haven't been influenced by society too much.
Right. They don't know, and their secrets isn't even like secrets for grown-ups, right? It's lies, deceit,
Yeah.
like terrible stuff. But secrets for kids are like,
So,
I have a
I
cookie
guess-
hidden in a Ziploc. You know what I mean? Like, that's their
guess-
secrets.
Yeah, so I try to go back to like the biological reasoning for it. I can't really think. The best I can come up with right off the top of my head is maybe like back when we're all like hunter gatherers and tribes and stuff, and you're really just trying to survive. Like
You discovered a berry patch.
humans are a social bunch, so you want to tell people things, but you can't trust everybody, so you only tell the people that you really trust. Yeah, like, oh, there's a berry patch over here, but you can't tell anybody, because if you do, then everybody will eat it, and you'll like starve to death throughout the winter or whatever, you know.
Oh, there won't
So
be enough
that's
for
the-
me next time or something. Yeah. Maybe.
Yeah, that's
But
the
why
best I can come
kids?
up
But
with.
why does it start with kids? Why is it so important to kids? And it seems like it becomes, or I guess we just stop talking about secrets when we get older, but everyone still has them, so to speak. You know what I mean? But it's just,
I
it's
think
not the
as an
same.
adult, there's more of an unspoken understanding. If I go, hey, Jared,
I'm
I
like,
need
oh,
to tell you something, and I come up with something that's like really personal and whatever, you'd be like, okay. I'm
Right,
probably
right.
not going to sit here and just tell random people that story he just told me, you know?
right. But it's not, we're not like, I've got a secret to tell you, but it is, a secret, I guess.
It's something, yeah.
Yeah. No, interesting. Yeah, good world or interesting view. That's why I was
But
like.
anyway, why
batting
kids
things
would have
around.
it is just because it's just something that's beaten into like the human biology. So anything that I think is biological,
Hmm.
yeah, like that, kids would have.
Sure,
Anything
sure.
that's
As part
learned
of a building
or
block from.
yeah, just like instinct,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
That's my best guess.
Yeah. Well, because I was looking at like the origins, like tickling, like why do we tickle and stuff or whatever, and why do we have tickle spots and.
Why do we tickle?
Oh, so interestingly enough, most of your tickle spots are a kill spot. So literally, it's your body teaching you to protect certain spots. Think about it. If I've got a sword, where's a good place to pierce you and pierce your heart? Under your armpits. Okay? That's one of the major tickle spots. The neck.
What about the bottom of your
The
feet,
neck
though?
is very ticklish. That's the one thing that always throws everybody off, and I'm not sure about that one. Your neck is very ticklish. A lot of people are very ticklish right on their pelvis there, right where the femoral artery runs
you know what?
through.
I bet your feet is a little bit different. It makes sense what you're saying because it's like you're softer, kind of whatever.
Sure. So when
areas
you're
that are
little, right? When
more
you're little,
vulnerable.
everybody tickles all these spots, and after a while, you learn how to clamp down and protect these things. It's a natural way to teach yourself to protect your
I guess
easily.
that's why you want to tickle babies too.
100%.
Good for like the little.
No,
which
you're
is fine. You're
you're
teaching
literally
them to-
protecting vital organs.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah, interesting.
I would say the bottom of the feet, I think, would be a little bit different than like not necessarily you're trying to protect it from attack, but you're protecting it from other things because you're always walking on your feet. And back in the day, if you got like a cut on your foot, infection,
That's
you're
death.
always walking in dirt.
It's basically
That's
death.
pretty bad, yeah.
Yeah, so it was literally just it's another.
Or-
it basically is something you do have to protect to keep you alive.
Or if you're just standing in a field waiting for some animal to run by to get them, and you feel something tickling your feet, it's probably not something good. Something's
That's
gonna
true.
bite you.
Oh, yeah. That could be it. That definitely could be it. Yeah, because that's what everyone always throws at me is the feet, and I don't actually have a reason for that. But yeah.
I would think it's more just not necessarily like that kill shot from whatever. Just
Sure.
it's still infections from cuts and just little critters trying to bite your feet. And
Still just an important
brush yourself
area that
against
needs
them.
to be protected. Yeah, it's not necessarily always about the kill shot, but just important, vital to your survival as a human.
especially back in the day. Nowadays nobody thinks about it because we all wear shoes and everything.
And we're also not going into battle with swords and stuff, but yes. Yes.
Well, yes.
So I'm not like, boy, I'm sure glad my dad tickled me so I didn't get stabbed through my armpit today.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. But yeah, so it's interesting. So it's just, it feels like it's something that carried over. Anyway, that's one of the things I researched, and it said that was possibility. One of the reasons it didn't say that was the catch-all. But I like to say that that's a fairly logical reason, which makes the most sense of anything to me, as to why you would have little spots in your body that, by the way, you can't tickle. How come you can't tickle yourself there? That's why that theory for me makes sense. Again,
What?
you can't nothing. You can't tickle yourself. Go ahead, try.
I'm trying right now. I'm not
It's
lying.
impossible.
I've heard that before, and I think every time somebody says it, I try it. And I'll be like,
It's
I think it
impossible.
can.
You
Like,
cannot.
It feels like it should be tickling, but
You
it's
can't.
not.
It's impossible. You cannot. And that goes again to the theory of you have to protect others from touching you in the spots that are vital organs and vital
You're
access
probably not
points.
going to be stabbing yourself.
Under the armpit. If you do, you're just gonna go for you know what I mean. You're gonna
That's
take care of
interesting.
business.
I guess that would mean it's like more of a mental thing as opposed to just like the nerves going off or whatever. It's definitely just all in your head, kind of maybe.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't
no,
know.
absolutely. Because you could control tickling too, and I've taught my kids how to do that. I could control when I want to be tickled and don't want to be tickled. And my dad taught me that when I was younger. But anyway, it's a strange
Really?
discussion.
How?
Mind, you just literally force yourself not to let it tickle. I can get Molly to do it all the time. My oldest, she's been doing it since she was 3.
I'm pretty good at it. I think I think it comes with like practice or whatever. But I hate being tickled, so people will they'll try to tickle me and they'll be like, "Oh, you're not ticklish," but I really am, and I can be like, "Oh, that's like tickling. I'm just holding it back. I'm not." And it always happens right about when I'm like, "Oh, I can't take it anymore. I'm about to do the a little girly, whatever thing, that's when they stop and they'll be like, yeah, no, can't get you. And I'm like, yeah. So I've trained myself to like hold it off just the perfect amount of
Just
time.
enough to where they're like, oh,
Yeah.
fine. And you're like, whoo, 2
Yeah.
more seconds and I would have been rolling.
So I'm guessing that's my mental capacity or whatever. Just saying,
Your
hey, you
fortitude.
don't have to prevent it. You just need to prevent
Do it long
for
enough
this
that they're
long.
annoyed and walk away. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
so
heard
I've
a
created the pathways in my mind.
I heard a
That's the
stand-up
time frame.
comedian talking about that. He says he has the perfect answer, and I'm going to botch it. I'm pretty sure because I don't remember it exactly. But he's like,
Yes.
anytime somebody asks if they're ticklish, he's like, there's no way. There's if you say yes, then people are going to tickle you. If you say no, then people are going to tickle you. He says, so I've got the perfect way out of this. He says, anytime anyone asks if I'm ticklish, I say yes, but it causes me to have explosive vomit. He's like, nobody wants to try it then.
Right.
I was like, oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. No one's like, oh, you really? Tickling caused you to have explosive vomit? Let me see. They're not trying. Nobody
I
wants
gotta
that.
see this.
Nobody wants a piece of that. Who wants to get vomited on? Nobody. I don't care if you're a nurse, a doctor, a bartender. Nobody wants to get vomited on. I just named the people that usually
That's-
come in contact with vomit.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one. And even if somebody's like, "Nah, I gotta see that," and they start to tickle you, you could just pretend like you're starting to like. And then
Right.
they'd be like,
Oh,
no,
gosh. Oh, wait.
Got
Oh,
you.
wait. That's pretty funny. I thought it was. I wish I could credit whatever comedian it was, but I'm saying it's not my own work. It was a stand-up comedian. It was pretty funny. You'll have to find it. I don't know who it was. I just acquired these things. I don't remember who says them all.
I did that for a period of time. I'd tell jokes, but they weren't mine. So I'd just be like, #stolen joke. So I'm not trying to say it's my joke, man.
Exactly. I mean, whose joke
if
is
I don't
ever
know-
anyone's joke? I mean, all of them come from somewhere they're kind of related to. So it's like, if it's not specifically directly from my head, I'm not going to say it, and I'll just agree that it was somebody else's. I don't care. I don't need it. It's not mine. But it's funny.
Right.
Nonetheless, it's funny. But I always felt
why is
like
it so bad to tell
jokes.
other people's jokes.
See, I feel like that's a new thing. I feel like literally the point of a joke is it's a pass it down the alley kind of thing. Here, I'm giving you something to share with somebody else, right? Because what good does the joke do me after I've already told it to my wife? I can't tell it to my wife again. She's not going to be like, oh, wonderful. I forgot.
Yeah,
what
jokes-
a delightful thing. Oh,
Right.
no, she doesn't care. It's over. It's done. It was funny once. So anyway, I've always
I
felt
don't know.
it.
I don't know.
It just feels
There
like
are
it.
some jokes that are timeless.
There are some.
jokes.
There are some.
Like, I
They
could
do.
stay up all night long.
Yeah, listen to Nora Jones. Yeah, there are some classic jokes. All right, I'll give you that. But I just felt like, on the whole, I feel like the whole point of a joke is a here, take one, pass it around type thing, right? So I don't know, like all of a sudden I became aware that there's this thing where it's like, oh, you gotta give credit where it's due. And I'm not trying to steal anyone's credit, but a joke's a joke, right? Like, it's just. Of course, it's not my original work.
That's
You
why,
really thought I came up with who crossed, or why'd the chicken cross the road? You think that's mine? You think I wrote that?
I'm going to tell you a story here
Right.
about jokes. When it comes to jokes like that, if I don't know where they came from, whatever, I'll just say the joke. But if I know where they referenced it, where I got it, I'll just be like, oh yeah, a friend of mine said blah blah blah, or I'll try to reference it in a way to give credit without being like a total nerd, which maybe I failed or not. But I remember one time you told me a joke.
Yes.
And I totally used it, and it totally killed. Like, it killed.
Yeah. Nice. And then you're like,
And it was. I'll tell you the joke here. I know because it happened kind of recently, but I remember. I think you said it like a while ago, so I don't know if you remember this or not. But it's about the story of Nintendo and how they named Mario Mario. Do you remember that story?
maybe. Keep going. It's been a while.
So back in the day, when Nintendo was, just starting. Not just starting, because there were
A card company,
before they
yeah,
did the
for 150
Nintendo
years.
Entertainment System, and then
Yeah.
when they were doing the NES, they weren't really that big, and they were just walking around, just trying to.
Oh yeah. I remember
Going
this. Keep
store
going.
to store, saying, "Hey, can we sell our Nintendo here?" And hey, can we put up? And they're like, "Well, yeah, but no, like we'll put up the displays." So they were like tight on money in that time frame, and they had I don't know, wherever they were renting out their offices, they had a landlord, and they're like, "Hey, we can't really pay you, but if you let us hold off on our rent payments, we'll name our character after you. we'll name him Mario, right?
Yep.
And the guy's like, all right. So that's where Mario got his name from.
Right.
And I remember you specifically throwing a joke out there, be like, oh man, I wonder where that guy is now. And he'd be telling people, and they would never believe him, and he'd be like, but it's me, a Mario.
That is a solid joke.
So,
that's pretty solid. But it's me, Mario.
so yeah,
That's good.
Yeah. So I don't know how, but that story of like where Mario got his name came up.
I don't remember I read that.
And
That's funny.
And they were like, "Oh yeah, that's pretty cool." And I was like, "Yeah, I told my friend that." And so I set you. I kind of gave you credit, there.
Yeah.
And he was like, "I wonder where that guy is now. People probably don't believe he's named after Mario." And he's all just like, "But it's me, a Mario." And I'm telling you,
I love it.
Everybody
It is a solid joke. That's funny.
Like, all right.
Good times.
My joke killed, but I gave credit, so I don't have to feel like a sleazeball.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Well, that's why the same thing with that one earlier. I said a stand-up comedian said it. That's not mine. I'm just referencing it. It's hilarious. I can't tell you which comedian it was, but it was good. It was funny. I'm sure you could find it. It's out there.
Let's be honest, half the people, even if you were like, oh, yeah, it's this guy,
Yeah, you could be like, Bill Maher said, and tell the joke, and then they'll be like, so Jared told me the other day. So it wouldn't matter. You know what I mean? I don't know why I said Bill Maher. It just popped in my head first. It was a weird name. But either way, whatever.
I was trying to think of I was going to go the other way, but like even if you say a comedian, there's a huge chance they wouldn't even know who you're talking about. So it's like, whatever.
And then I said Bill Maher, and you're like, who's he talking about? No, I'm just joking.
Yeah, so I was trying to think of like an off the cuff, like second string kind of comedian name, and I was like, I can't think of one. And you're like, Bill Maher, and I was like, pretty sure people know who Bill Maher is.
I threw it in there because he once was a comedian, but now more he's just angry about whatever he is, host. But he used to be a stand-up comedian at one point, and then he's so far away from that. You know who I was thinking about? What happened to Jay Moore? Where'd that guy go? You remember Jay Moore?
I don't know. No, I don't remember Jay Moore.
Wow. He was a big stand-up comedian, and he was in movies. He was in the Garfield movie. Like, Jay Moore, he had a TV show. He even was hosting that, like, Comedians Last Standing, he was like a
Last Comic Standing.
There it is. Yeah, Jay Moore. I can't believe you remember exactly. Well, there you go. I don't know what happened to him. He was really big for a while. He was this comedian, and then he just disappeared. Off the top of my head, I can't pull it out. I wasn't a big fan of him, but literally just the other day, I was like, wait a minute.
What
happened to that guy?
I wasn't a really big fan.
I didn't really care for him. He was kind of annoying, but I still don't know what happened because he was huge. He was everywhere for a while. Everywhere.
People probably realized he was kind of annoying.
Yeah, but sometimes just people get the wrong. Like, I like Luke Wilson a lot, and I feel like he really gets the short. Luke Wilson I love Owen Wilson too. No dogging on Owen Wilson. At first I didn't. It took years for me to like Owen Wilson. I'm gonna be honest. He annoyed me at first, but he cracks me up now. I don't know about his personal life. Don't bring it up. Don't care. That means I know a little bit, and I just don't want to talk about it. But his brother Luke, who's his older brother, I think he's a lot funnier in a lot of situations. And even if he's not a lot funnier, I find him more likable in everything he does. He's just this really nice, likable. I mean, he was in the '70s show, if you remember. He was the other Kelso. He's the Kelso brother. He dated Donna for a while. Like, he's just.
I didn't really watch that much stuff.
I've
seen the show. I know. I never sat down and watched it.
Kill me every time you tell me that. It's such a good show, man.
I know.
Watch it for Red. Watch it for Red and Hyde. That's the reason you watch that show. They're my favorite.
I think I tried to watch it, but I couldn't get it. Like, I started from the first episode. I was like, I don't know.
Wait,
don't you? That was the period of time where I sat there and watched like a bunch of shows and just nothing was clicking for me. So
but don't you not like Malcolm in the Middle as well? Or was that not? Oh, maybe that's my brother. Do you like Malcolm in the Middle?
I never really watched it.
Oh, well, yeah, there you go. It was you moron. It's another great show. You need to watch it. I meant that in a nice way.
I don't want to say that I don't like it. I just never really watched it.
You need to watch it. It's hilarious. It's so solid. Such good humor. Anyway, the oldest kid in that is actually Hyde's brother in real life. They're brothers, Mastersons. It's kind of funny. I mentioned that because we're talking about brothers and the more famous one. I actually like Hyde better too. Anyway, it's all bleeding together. You see that? It's all connected. It's all
It's
connected.
funny how you're talking about actors that have some personal stuff going on for them, and how we started off with actors, and their personal lives should kind of be separate, you know?
Oh yeah, because I don't want to know about it because it ruins my viewing of them. Like whatever was going on with Tom Hanks, but I don't want to get into that.
Yeah, now you mention it. There's a couple of one actress specifically that I used to like until I heard it, that behind the scenes she's a real
not nice
like,
human.
total
Yeah,
and it just ruined it for me.
Yeah, it always does. I never want to
Don't
hear
like her
that.
anymore.
That's why I don't want to hear about like Christian Bale being a jerk or Russell Crowe. Or there's a guy I don't know. My friend told me about this. He's so funny. So Russell Crowe had this not stalker. I don't want to say stalker. First of all, for anyone who doesn't know, Russell Crowe apparently is known to have a temper. And I know we don't talk about the lives, but this is funny because this is humorous. Okay, so he's known to have a temper, to kind of fly off the handle. He's kind of like a bad boy of Hollywood. They always try and call him, right? So this guy's on his following him on Twitter. He's just trolling, but in the nicest way ever, right? Like, so like Russell Crowe would be like, "Oh man, I had a good workout today, did 60 squats," and the dude would comment, be like, "Awesome, I did 90," and like every day he would just comment something like that, but just like one up him. To the point that like he ended up losing his mind. Russell Crowe did a big old rant and blocked the guy, but it's just so humorous because this guy just, in the politest way, just kind of, he wasn't mean. He'd be like, "Oh, good job, I did 90." Like he was just going and just trolling him forever
Good job. I did
about
a lot of squats
everything.
today, too. I got 90.
Yeah. And he just did it with everything, and it was hilarious. My buddy showed me the thread because they had them all together. It was amazing. It was really quite humorous. Just the littlest trolly thing, but because of the ego of the guy involved, it just became more than he could bear.
Yeah, that's so funny.
Yeah, it cracks me up. I love a good joke. I don't mind a good troll either. Some trolls are pretty fun. So,
people somewhere along the lines, I think trolling people can be hilarious. But
Oh,
I don't
absolutely.
think being like a toxic, disgusting
agreed.
human being.
Nope. Two totally
is
different
good.
things. I feel like they took
And I
troll
think-
and they took it away because teasing, pranking, and joshing and ribbing people used to be a thing, but now it's
Yeah.
all categorized under trolling. And there's that toxic stuff you're talking about, and then there's this light, fun, humorous saying you did 10 more push-ups than the guy who's trying to get fit for a role. Like that doesn't hurt anyone. It's just funny. It's just humorous. Nobody was
I
harmed.
think somewhere along the line, that line got like blurred between
It did.
like, a good troll and just being
A total giant douchebag. Right. That should
Yes,
not have
yes,
access to the
yes.
internet. Right. But I don't
And
want to
you
take
know
that
a
away
good
because I
troll
believe
when
in it.
you see one too, because they'll just
Oh,
make some
yeah.
kind of comment that's not even, it's not mean or nothing, but it'll just trigger them, like
Yeah.
Kinda
Yeah.
like you said, like who cares if you did 90 squats? Like that's not making this whatever, okay?
Right.
But like
Right.
when somebody says I did 60, you're like, cool, I did 90. You're like, "Ah."
right, exactly. It's so hilarious. So, of course, you're not going to be able to do as many as whoever's commenting on your page. He could be a freaking fitness instructor for all you know. You know what I mean? So, like, that's a funny troll because it's not toxic. It's not invasive. He's not saying, "Oh, you're trash. You can only do 60. You piecer." You know what I mean? No,
Yeah,
he's just like, "Cool, bro. Cool story. I did 90." Like, solid. That's solid trolling. I appreciate that. The light, humorous stuff, man. We need to laugh more. I feel like that's this world and everything
forgot how
going
to
on
take a
right now.
joke.
Yeah, just in general. I just think in general, if we all just learn to laugh more and laugh at our differences and our oddities and our weirdies, instead of getting so offended that anyone points them out, we should be embracing them, laughing them, and working with them together, man. That's what makes us unique, is our individual thoughts, opinions. It's fun. It's exciting. If everyone had the exact same opinions, man, life's boring. But we've gotten to this point where sharing opinions turns into violent outbursts of at least terrible language or worse. It's like, we just need to be able to laugh more and just let it go, man. Come on, guys.
Where
Life's
you're
short.
like, well, this is my opinion on how these things should be done. Somebody will be like, no, you're wrong.
You're wrong,
It's gonna
and
be
you
like,
need
hold
to
on,
die for this reason.
I didn't know. You're like, I didn't know opinions could be wrong.
Right.
I thought they were opinions for a reason.
Right, exactly. No, exactly. And then we feel like if
Or,
we don't
like-
have the same opinions, then we're not somehow allowed to converse one with another, because God
even
forbid
if
we
you-
have a different opinion.
You believe one thing and you think a certain way, and you state your opinion and your belief. Somebody always comes out and just says you're wrong and you're stupid or whatever for it. And rarely does anybody go, "Oh, well, here's the opposing view," blah blah blah, and try to like educate you a little bit or change your mind
Right.
or just
Right.
shine some light on the other side. It's always just people just think they're right with whatever it is.
That's what I'm saying. We need to go back to humor. People just need to laugh more. We just need to,
And
honestly.
that's why you need to just go to an open mic night and just become a stand-up comedian. You're going to be the one.
Boom.
Just to bring the entire nation together. You're gonna
Change
be
the
like,
world."
Jared Knight is hilarious. Everybody will disagree on everything, but they're like, yeah, Mr. Knight, he's pretty
Dude,
good.
this sounds like an epic movie we could write. Like a Tenacious D Pick of Destiny type movie. He'll be the chosen one to unite the world with his humor. It'll be amazing. It's awesome. Love it. Speaking of, not going to lie, I don't care how dumb
Microphone
this
of
makes me
Destiny?
sound. I am so pumped for Bill and Ted new movie. I don't care what anyone says. I cannot wait. I am tickled pink. I loved Bill and Ted growing up. I know they're terrible movies. I am not defending them. I agree they're awful. I love them. They're so fun, and I just love that they're doing it. I don't care. I love it. Love it.
Yeah, I saw they had 2 trailers. I watched the most
Trailer's
recent one.
solid. It looks solid. You can't be upset about that trailer. That looks great.
I was watching it, and I was like, I don't know, these guys are kind of old for the
That's the
role.
whole
This seems
point.
played out, and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, but for some reason, I really want to watch this.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be
I was
awesome.
like, I know exactly what I'm going to get into. It's
Oh,
not
I
gonna
know
be
what
like
it
the best
is.
movie in the world,
No, they're gonna be
but I'm
terrible.
gonna enjoy the crap out of
Yes,
this.
it's going to be fun. It's going to be terrible. It's not going to be enjoyable. You're not going to want to tell everyone to run out and see it. I don't want to tell people to see the originals. They're terrible, but I love them. They're funny. They're amazing. They're so stupidly hilarious. So I'm pumped. I think it's good. Keanu Reeves can't do wrong anyway. He's releasing The Matrix 4, John Wick 4 on the same weekend, and in the same year releasing this one, Bill and Ted's.
Bill and Ted. Yeah, I mean, if there's
And he's
one
in the
person that
SpongeBob
can unite
movie.
everybody, it just might be Keanu Reeves. You know.
So
Just
you're
maybe.
saying he's the one?
Well, yes, he's the one.
Oh
It's so
man.
hard to hate on Keanu, man.
No, you know
Makes it
what?
hard.
Keanu is a gem. Him and Betty White are national treasures that must be preserved at all costs. The two of them. Betty White just cause she's adorable. But literally,
You ever see,
he's
like,
a great human. I love Keanu.
You ever
Reeves.
see just a random video of him, like somebody? I saw
All the
one
time.
of him
All the
just
time.
on the
Subway.
subway or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're just like, "Oh, is he going to be a jerk or a
He's
jerk?"
never a
Like, I
jerk.
was like, and it's just like such a normal person thing. Like he'll be like sitting down, somebody come in, there's no seats. Like, oh, here you go.
He
He'll
stands
stand
up, gives him a
let the
seat,
lady
and
sit
grabs the
down.
pole. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, I know. It's that
And
stuff
you're
with
just like,
everything.
yeah,
Well, you
okay.
know, he took a huge portion of the money he made off the Matrix and literally gave it all away to charities and stuff, right? Like he's.
I heard he does that for like all of his movies.
Yes, all of
Apparently,
his
he doesn't
stuff.
have that much money.
No,
He's not
he
like-
doesn't. He doesn't.
He just gives it all away and stuff.
Yeah, he's like an awesome guy. He's just very, and he's had such
he
a
went to that-
tragic life. If you want to look into his story with, his childhood friends, River Phoenix was one of his best friends who, as you know, killed himself. His fiance, like he was getting married to or engaged to, obviously fiance, idiot. She ended up like getting killed in a car accident that I think he was involved. You have to look it all up. Dude, he's been through some of the most tragic, heartbreaking stuff in his life, and man, he's just this nice, humble, sweet, kind-natured guy. I don't know, man. I have nothing but respect for Keanu Reeves. I know we just talked about not putting people up on a pedestal, but the only reason I put him up on a pedestal is because here is somebody with so much money and an ability to have power, and he just lives without that. He lives like a normal, regular, everyday person, and that's just unique. And that's why it's the uniqueness of the situation. It has nothing to do with his profession. If Jeff Bezos lived like that, I'd be singing his praises. You know what I mean? Obviously, he
I
doesn't.
don't think he lives like that. I saw.
Obviously, he
apartment that
doesn't.
He moved into.
Correct.
Was it New York?
Correct.
Or something.
Right.
it was his I think it was his apartment, Jeff Bezos' apartment. I know it was his apartment. I think it was New York or something. But I saw something of it walking through and a tour of it before he actually moved into it. I was like, what does was like 20 million or 200 million or something like that? Some crazy
Oh, I'm
amount.
sure.
Like,
Oh, I'm sure.
yeah, and I
And
was
that's
like,
what you
how
expect.
do you spend that much on an apartment? And they're like, this apartment is the top 3 floors of this building, and I was like, okay.
Got you. He bought a building. No, right.
Basically.
hmm Exactly. Anyway, that's the reason I bring it up. Not promoting stool, but that's just an impressive way to live. Shows you're good. I don't know. Something is good inside of you. It seems. I mean, obviously, I don't walk daily with him, but everything I've seen is
Maybe
very
he's just
positive.
a tortured soul, and he's a really bad person. He tries to make up for it by
Giving everything away
being
because
good.
he hates himself. Yeah,
He
well, it's
gives away.
possible.
Yeah, but then that turns into the whole Jim Carrey thing. To bring it full circle, be like, even if inside you feel like you're trash, and that's why you do all this good stuff. Like, who are you really? Are you that person that's really doing all that good stuff? Are you a good person at that point?
Well, how about this? How about let's take it a further step and ask the moral question: the good that he does it matter why he does it? It's still good that's being done in the world. Does it matter what his purpose is? If it's the most selfish reasons humanly possible, but yet it's doing all this good, does it matter what his intentions are?
Possibly. I mean, it could go either way on that question. I'm not going to try to answer.
Just think about it. Just throwing it out there into the ethos. It's a moral quandary. It's a question. Regardless, though, if someone is doing a ton of good in the world, regardless of their desired reason, does it matter if the good's still being done? Anyway, it's an interesting question. Philosophical, if you will.
Okay, Aristotle.
There you go. Socrates, Plato.
Socrates.
Have you heard of them? Morons. Really? Sorry, I just saw Princess Bride. That's literally from Princess Bride.
Oh, I was gonna go with moral like Socrates. You can look him up. He's
Under Socrates. Yeah. Bill and Ted, full circle. That's the first one. Which, by the way, I always thought I liked Bogus Adventure more, but when I watched him about 6 years ago, honestly, Bogus Adventure is the worst.
That one together?
Yeah, that was with you. Yep. And honestly, the second one's way worse, and I always thought it was better. The first one was actually the better of the two. I don't care. I'm still excited.
I thought it was decent, but kind of weird. And
it was.
Like,
it wasn't as good as the first.
But I saw something where somebody, like a video online, where somebody was trying to say it was like this really good sequel, and I was like, maybe I just need to give it a second chance. And yeah, no, it was not.
It's pretty bad, but they're all bad. They're both bad, but the first one's better because it's more original, and the second one kind of hurt. And so there was literally, I remember us both groaning at least twice out loud, not looking at each other, but just watched it and went, oh. Oh, like at least twice. I know we did. Don't care. It's still exciting to see the third one. But yeah. I mean, you have to be honest with your nostalgia.
I don't know. I think I've realized this, and I don't really want to go back and watch too much.
It depends. Some of them hold up. Some of them hold up, bud. We've watched a bunch, and they do hold up. Willow holds up. We watched that recently.
What I found out is anything that I thought wasn't good as a kid, I should never go back and be like, I just didn't get it.
No, it's still probably not good. Little kid was right.
Every time I've gone back and tested it out, it's like, oh no, I definitely knew what I was, talking about as a kid.
I was right then.
I love the Ninja Turtles, but that third movie, oof. Yeah. No.
Oh, yeah. No, you're not going to get me to watch that one again. I was mad the first time I watched it, and I've never watched it a second time. I'll be mad about it forever.
I watched it again because I was like, you know what? Maybe it's not that bad. It's like Turtles in Time. It could be good. Maybe it was just too grown up for me. I didn't get it as a kid.
No, I refuse.
Then I watched it, and I was like,
doesn't Leo not come back at the end? I'm going to get mad all over again. You're going to get me mad. I don't want to talk about that movie.
No, he comes back.
No, he does not. No, he does not. He stays in China. Or Japan. He stays in Japan and breaks up the Ninja Turtles. 100% he does. It's the whole reason I hate the movie. That's why I never watched it but once. I'm still mad about it. I'm not talking.
Are you sure it's Leo? It might be Casey Jones or something.
No, it's either Leo or Ralph. I can't remember. It's either Leo or Ralph. I don't remember which one. It's one of them, and they don't come back.
Watch this movie now. You're gonna make
No, you could just Google it. Just Google it. Just right now. Say which Ninja Turtle didn't come back at the end of the third live-action film. 1989, is that when it came out? No, wait, no. 92 is when the first one came out. 91.
1993.
So
Came
3.
out.
Yeah, because they put them all out right back to back to back. They were all like literally a year, and then it was 2 years between the first and second, and then a year between the second and third. I think that's how it went. Anyway, I'm pretty sure that's how it went. But they used to strike when the iron was hot back then. Now they like to make you sit and gestate on it for a while. What are you coming up with? It's Leo or Raph, and they didn't come back. What do you mean nothing? Gosh, this is where the internet stinks. I still don't know how we have the most power and all the information in the entire world at our fingertips, and something simple as the ending of that movie can't quickly been found on the internet.
But I think they all came back because the TMNT movie is like a kind of unofficial continuation of that story.
Well, if it was an unofficial continuation of that story in the beginning of it, then Leo is in the jungles of South America, and they haven't seen him forever, and they accidentally comes back for some stupid reason and runs into the rest of the turtles. So, yes, if it's a continuation, he 100% stayed down there in stupid Japan, and then apparently went to South America, because that's where 2002, the animated show starts. I know my turtles, but you forget. Loved my Ninja Turtles. Loved my Ninja Turtles.
I'm scared of what I'm going to find when I pull this up. It's going to be like, oh, Leo, stay behind. And I'm going to no. I don't remember that.
That's why I hate the movie.
I probably erased it out of my brain.
That's why I hate the movie.
I probably watched that movie and it was so bad. And
that's why I hate the movie. Because they killed it forever. They said, we're done with Turtles, and they pooped all over my childhood love. Turtles is a big part of my youth. It really was. It was my toys. All my toys I had were Turtles. My shows, my TV. I love the Ninja Turtles, man. Always have. But yeah, pretty sure that's how it ends. And if you say it's a tie-in, well, again, that's how the 2000 movie starts. Off in the jungle. Oh, in fact, yeah, because that's how he finds the statues that they're bringing back, and he follows one of the statues back and brings it to New York, and that's where the guy's trying to bring back all the statues to bring them to life so he can have eternal life. Boom! Don't get me started. I haven't seen that one in forever either. That was actually a better movie.
I'm just going to read this paragraph out loud because I feel like we're killing time. I went to Wikipedia, and it has the plot of the story, so I'm going through the whole movie. So okay. I'm at the end here for Ninja Turtles in Time. I'm just going to read it out. I don't know how it goes here.
Is that what it was called? The third one?
I
don't think that's what the third one was called. Is it?
No, it's just Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3. The tagline is, the Turtles are back in time.
Oh, okay. Continue.
Yeah, so the ending goes like this. The Turtles are now ready to return to their own time, but Mikey says he would rather stay.
Oh, it's Mikey. Yeah, it was Mikey who stayed. Yeah.
In particular, because he wanted to be with Mitsu.
That chick. Mm-hmm.
Raphael decides he wants to stay as well because he feels like the Turtles are appreciated in Japan, unlike back home.
Mm-hmm.
The other Turtles and April try to convince them otherwise until Kenshin activates the scepter and makes the decision harder. After a long debate, which includes Mitsu telling Mikey to keep his promise about Kenshu returning to the past, Michelangelo reluctantly agrees to go home with his brothers, but just barely misses grabbing the scepter in time. The honor guards switch back with the Turtles, all except for Michelangelo.
It was Mikey.
Fortunately, the last remaining honor guard, Benki, activates the scepter and swaps places with Mikey just before the scepter burns out. Boom.
Oh, really?
In the past, Norina admits surrender to Mitsu and Kenshin, who hand the scepter to him, and the two lovers share a tender reunion. Meanwhile, Michelangelo is depressed over the thought of growing up, but Splinter cheers him up by performing the lampshade Elvis impression. The rest of the Turtles join in final dance. So, yeah, Mikey was going to stay behind. And
maybe I just hate it because, are you sure he came back? Didn't it the last scene? Was there I swear he didn't. Okay. I stand corrected. But Leo was gone in that first part of that first other one. So, in the jungles of Argentina. Or Venezuela. I don't remember. South America. Don't quote me. That one was weird, too, because Raph was even more moody. Whatever. I hated that movie. Still worse. I'll never watch it again. It was trash.
Yep.
That's the Turtles. I think we should wrap this up. It's a little bit shorter one tonight, but that's okay.
Perfect, yeah. Yep. I gotta apparently go watch kids now anyway. So.
Oh,
It's
well, there's
perfect
that.
timing. I was about to wrap it up. It feels like a good wrap up point here. So.
Yeah, just like the
Yeah.
turtles, we're out of time. I got nothing.
No, nothing.
That's my segue.
Anyway, yeah, I forget how I end these, and I always end them by saying how I forget how to end them. So,
Which basically is how he ends them.
You can't like a podcast? Well, subscribe to the podcast. Check out the YouTube channel, Sly and I Guy on YouTube, Eric Hunter Podcast on Facebook. Search it and like and share that page and all those good things. If you have any questions, feel free to email us at erichunterpodcast@gmail.com.
Woohoo! See you guys.
Peace out.
That's the wrong button. Bop. Mm-hmm.